So next up, we're going to take what we just learned and do a bit of a fun little demo where we're going to build our own search form for Reddit and for Google and probably YouTube, where we can send data to their server from our form and then end up actually getting a search page. So the process here is really simple. All we need to do is take advantage of the form attribute for action, where the form submits, and make sure we're following the correct pattern and using the correct name for our search query or whatever the input will be that we're sending, that value. So I'm just going to make a search on Reddit like I did here for silky chickens, or just silky, and copy that URL. So from our form, we will submit to that exact URL right there, except I'm not going to hard code in q equals silky and all of that. We're just going to go to /search. And then as we saw, if we have an input and that input has a name, whatever that name is, I could do something like query, and then I can put a button in here just to submit or search Reddit, something like that. Whatever value is in this input will be sent to reddit.com/search. So let's check it out. Refresh my page. It says search Reddit. So I'm going to search for dog. But the problem is, if I hit search, you'll see what our URL is. We got a Reddit page, but this URL has query equals dog. But the actual Reddit server is expecting, as we saw, q equals dog. So we have to match that pattern. Reddit servers are set up to expect q for that search query, not query or whatever we decided on. So just go back to q, and now we're following the pattern. So let's try it. Let's go back to our form, and I'll search for, how about puppy? Search Reddit, and moment of truth here. There we go. We're getting puppy results. Look at our URL, q equals puppy. Great. So we can do the exact same thing for Google. Here is how Google is set up. It's a little confusing. If you go do a search like for pizza, the URL is absolutely massive, and it includes a whole bunch of stuff that we don't really need to care about. I'm going to get rid of pretty much all of it. I'm just looking for pizza in here. Where can I find the term pizza? Somewhere. Right. Okay, there it is. Can you see that? Q equals pizza. It follows the exact same pattern. So if I went to this URL, it's just worth checking. If I paste that in, does it work? Yes, we're searching for pizza. So I could make a form to search on YouTube, or no, geez, on Google. Oh boy. And I'll paste that URL in there. But we don't want to set Q to be pizza always. I want to be able to have an input. Same idea here, and it's going to be a text input, and we'll give it a name of Q as well. Button, search Google, and this one is very similar, right? They both have a name of Q. I'm going to refresh my page wherever it was. Here we are. I'll search Google. How about we did pizza? We'll do tacos. Search Google, and there we go. We're getting tacos. Cool. So the last one that we'll do is a little bit different. It's YouTube, and YouTube search. Finally, we have one that doesn't follow the exact same pattern. If I search for dog on here, let's look at the URL. It's /results, first of all, and the name is search_query. It is not Q. So remember, I said it's totally up to the server, the basically the company or whoever's developing this to decide on what that search term name will be. It could be anything, but we want to follow it. Now, what we're doing anyway is kind of silly and stupid and not something you would really ever do, but it does demonstrate this principle. So let's make one more form, and this one we'll submit to YouTube. So action, youtube.com/results, and then we'll add in our input, and type will be text, and then we'll have name equals search_query, and add our button, search YouTube. Okay, let's see if it works. Go back. I'm going to search YouTube for, how about origami? Search. There we go. Search query equals origami. If that was anything else, it doesn't work. And it looks like we don't get a 404 or a bad error. It just takes us back to YouTube. It doesn't recognize what we asked the server for. The last thing I'll mention here is that technically if you have an input, if you don't have a button but you do have an input in a form, And let me go back to my form here. And the user hits enter. Like if I hit enter right now, I'm not clicking submit. This will submit the form. So remember my form, there's really 3 forms here. Here's 1, here's 2, and here's the 3rd form. They each submit somewhere different. I like to put the button in there, and if we do put the button back in there, you can still just hit enter to submit the form. So it works. Wow, I'm amazed there are results for that, but I guess it's not that surprising. Pretty commonly typed letters together, A, S, and D. That's kind of all I wanted to show you. I think what I would do lastly is probably add in maybe some headings. So we'll have maybe an H2 here that says hijacking searches maybe, and then an H3 search Reddit, and then another H3 here, search Google, and then our final one down here, search YouTube. Sure, there we go. Slightly easier to read, still hideous, but we haven't gotten to styling yet. We're almost there. So that's really just a demo of name and action, those 2 crucial attributes, and we're conforming, in this case, to standards or to rules set out by Reddit, Google, YouTube. It's totally up to the companies on how they want to structure things, and we're just playing by those rules once we figure them out.